really that powerful?
Yes, and that was also when I designed this badge. The comet Mara was passing over Aida at the time, as though implying that it had guided humanity to an even higher plane of existence. I was convinced that Norns would be the one to lead us into the future, which is why I gave it the name Norns of the Future.
So why did Antoria have this badge?
Because humanity misunderstood Mara's gift to us. Our forays into hyperspace eventually caught the attention of the powerful predators that hide within the fabric of space-time. What happened after that? Well, you've already seen it all, haven't you?
So you're saying the real world started to suffer only after the Void Piercers appeared? And that the aberrants were a consequence of these temporal anomalies?
If left unchecked, the Void Piercers would have turned everyone into aberrants, and Aida would have become a living hell. For that reason, Antoria and her soldiers entered hyperspace to engage them in battle. I gave this badge to Antoria before she left, the one and only of its kind. She swore she would complete her mission at all costs, but her hands were trembling uncontrollably the entire time. She said one last thing to me before she stepped through the gate. If someone comes to you with this badge in hand, I need you to trust them and help them with all your strength. Treat them as you would treat me. It seems that person is none other than you. And since you've already met Antoria, you must know by now that no matter how many soldiers we send into hyperspace, we can never truly exterminate the Void Piercers.
If that's so, why are Antoria and her team still battling the Void Piercers in hyperspace? Aren't there other solutions for handling these temporal anomalies?
It appears Wednesday really didn't look into File 049 after all. If you had, you would know that the answer can be found within. The Reality Reshaping Program. Faced with the Void Piercers, an undefeatable enemy, the Norns Federation poured all of its resources into executing this three-phase plan. Phase 1 was... If reality is the calm surface of a lake, then every omnium experiment conducted by humanity is a stone cast into that lake. Agitated by the ripples in the water, the creatures living in its depths approach the surface and create an even bigger disturbance. Their violent thrashing eventually begins splashing water on the people casting stones into the lake.
So you're saying that omnium experiments are what attract the Void Piercers to an area, and in turn they infect everyone within a certain range? That's why the Federation passed the Omnium Experimentation Prohibition Act.
Unfortunately, due to Omnium Technology's immense market potential, companies like Shooter Electronics and Aurora Industries continued conducting illegal experiments. When a temporal anomaly appeared within Shooter Electronics' Ring Lab, it was because they illegally tampered with the Omnium Reactor's regulating program. Omnium research is inextricably tied to Omnium reactors. Whenever one of them is activated, it casts another stone into the lake, so to speak. The point where that stone enters the lake is known as a space-time singularity by Hykros.
But not all Omnium experiments result in aberrations, right? Back in Aurora Industries, I watched an Omnium reactor's activation with my own eyes, but I didn't see any aberrants afterwards.
That's most likely because Antoria is diligently carrying out her mission, which is Phase 2 of the Reality Reshaping Program. The simplest way to calm the water's surface is to get rid of the creatures that arise from its depths. Antoria and the Temporal Anomaly Response Force are like a fishing boat out to capture them. They track the movements of void piercers from within hyperspace. When they detect a large gathering, Antoria and her soldiers rush to the area and annihilate them, thus preventing aberrants from appearing in our world. Then, with the power of the reshaping tower, we can augment reality in a direction that is not influenced by the void piercers. This allows us to alter the boundaries of affected areas and slow the spread of temporal anomalies. As for living creatures that have already become aberrants, in order to prevent them from exacerbating the situation, we use several underground areas to monitor and contain them. If the corresponding area can be reshaped, then the aberrants can return to normal as well.
Oh, I see.
Antoria's mission was never to eradicate the Void Piercers, but to prevent their proliferation and the subsequent collapse of human society. The reshaping tower's effective range is limited, and the battle in hyperspace is not meant to last forever. The phase's true purpose is to buy enough time for the third and final phase. Ever since Antoria entered hyperspace to battle with the Void Piercers, the Federation has been accumulating the strength and resources needed to launch a second global time retracement, aiming to revert all of Aida to a time before the temporal anomalies. If we succeed, the surface of the lake will become peaceful once more, and humanity will have completely averted the catastrophe caused by the temporal anomalies. But the date we've chosen for turning back time is still far away. But now that you've appeared with Antoria's badge, it means she must have discovered something so important that we need to accelerate our plans. Cat got your tongue? Getting cold feet?
No, Secretary General, but I'm definitely worried. Given the failure of the first regression, have you considered how catastrophic it would be if we failed a second time?
To be honest, it's impossible for us to imagine the consequences of a second failure at this time. The first regression was just a single, small-scale experiment. It hardly compares to a time retracement that will affect the entire planet. But one thing I can tell you is that with the help of artificial intelligence, the Federation has conducted an almost immeasurable number of experimental simulations. The reality reshaping program is the only option with a success rate greater than 0.
So when are you planning to go public with this information? Almost no one on Aida knows about the temporal anomalies, much less that the Federation is planning such a massive operation that will affect everyone's lives.
Sharing this information with the rest of Aida would only cause even more panic, which would disturb our social order. If that were to happen, the Federation wouldn't be able to amass the strength it needs to execute the reality reshaping program. For this reason, I need to keep everything secret for the time being. You're entirely correct that this course of action will result in the loss of many innocent lives. But unless I do things this way, every single person on Aida will be turned into an aberrant. The temporal anomalies cannot be seen as ordinary natural disasters, or scientific mishaps that require divulgence to the public. The fate of every living being in our world is at stake. I'll do whatever it takes to succeed, even if it means being described as a villain or a dictator in the pages of history. By asserting full control over every media and information outlet, I can ensure that no mention of the temporal anomalies makes it to the public. By disseminating and promoting Blue Aida's ideology, I was able to enact the Omnium Experimentation Prohibition Act. Through various threats and incentives, I persuaded several of Aida's wealthiest families to contribute to the reality reshaping program.
Aren't you worried that your plan might go awry? If even one word of this gets out, the society you've worked so hard to stabilize will collapse.
Precisely. It seems you finally understand the gravity of my position, as well as my reason for pursuing Wednesday so relentlessly.
Despite everything you've done, What if the next time retracement fails?
Then it only proves that fate is no longer on humanity's side. I have another meeting to attend shortly. Once it's over, I'll begin the necessary preparations for restarting the gate to hyperspace. But it's going to take some time. Since you have this badge, you will now participate in the reality reshaping program as a special commissioner. I will assign Federal Agent Claudia to assist you. Reactivating the gate is no simple task, so please be patient.
I nearly forgot about something, Secretary General.
Are you talking about the order for Wednesday's arrest? Don't worry. I'll be sure to cancel it.
No, it's actually about another member of Wednesday. Her name is Nola, and it's possible that she was part of a secret defense force squad in the past. But for several reasons, she has lost her memory. I was wondering if I could access her information to help her regain her memory?
A Defense Force soldier named Nola. I'll have Yang look into it. Just a moment. Yang tells me that the person in this file's photographs is none other than Nola. However, as this file is classified, I can only provide you with an edited copy.